What you know about ghostly lighting? My prediction is ghostly lighting is going to be vogue pretty soon, so I'm just getting ahead of the curve. I'm going to be a trendsetter for sure. Um, but the topic of this video is that math is now going to be a requirement for CS, I think. That is, if you want to do anything serious low level. If you want to be a web programmer, that's fine, but web programming is kind of being replaced right now by AI. And actually, if you look around, if you fucking open your eyes a little bit, we're in like a technological renaissance. You can maybe not feel like that because it's like a matter of perspective. I didn't feel like that for a while. I was like, we're regressing, everything is getting terrible, everything sucks. But advancement has never been faster than it is right now. The AI breakthroughs, are just like marketing, like that's the main thing you see because of marketing hype, but every field right now is just popping off in terms of discoveries. And it's because of exponential growth, the most powerful force in the universe. And so yeah, anyway, enough like news hype, whatever. What's the thesis of the video? Give me the point, bro. I discovered that I wanted to get cracked, and this was sometime around when I was born. And after that, I just like tried a little bit of everything to get cracked. And it took a while. I'm still on that journey, but it's starting to take off exponentially for me too, is what it seems like, in terms of my understanding. What happened, the biggest revelation was killing my ego, putting that under a rug and just like setting the rug on fire. Well, that would expose the ego again. I guess I just took the ego out completely, or maybe it caught fire when I set the rug on fire. I don't know. The point is that the ego, I got a handle on it, and I realized that I'm by far not the smartest person. There are way smarter people than me, which sounds obvious, but to actually realize that does take a little bit of practice and reflection. And when I realized that, I also realized there's a lot of stuff that I'm pretending to know for the sake of ego. There is a lot of stuff in school, like a surprising, alarming amount of stuff that I've kind of memorized, and I just pretend to say because I want to feel good about myself. Yeah, I understand differential equations. Yeah, I did well in calculus. I got a D minus in Calc 3. Like I am not good at school. I'm okay at it. I was forcing myself through it because I thought that's how you progress, and get ahead and get cracked. But yeah, I'm not that good at school. And there's a lot of stuff in computer science too that is pure ego for me. Like I like to flex a lot of things that I know, but it's stuff that I don't know. I don't fundamentally understand. It's just stuff I've heard. And I know a lot of engineers who do that too. Ego's big in this field for whatever reason. I guess it's like how nerds like flex on each other. How they gain social status is by having more intelligence. So you're incentivized to lie about and exaggerate what you know. I wouldn't even say it's like outright lying too, but if you really think to yourself like, okay, there's some concepts, how well do I really know them, and how well am I just like saying, yeah, lambda calculus, yeah, iterators, combinators, yeah, and like you fundamentally could not write, like if I told you right now, okay, go write like a parser library in Haskell, you functional bro, like without a GPT model or without like consulting a bunch of docs, do you have the intuition to do that? Maybe you're cracked because you watch me, but I don't know. So anyway, yeah, I realized that I had to just learn first principles stuff. Like as embarrassing as it is, I have to start with math from the beginning. And I didn't want to for a while. I was focusing on low-level programming with my friend Eric. We were reading the Postgres code base and trying to get a sense of like a server app, how the architecture works, and just low-level C. And I talked to a bunch of other excellent programmers at the time. I talked to an engineer at Google who was working on making Gemini performant on the phones, and he gave me a bunch of low-level tips. And then there were a bunch of other people that showed me about allocators and like thread safety and concurrency models and struct packing and a bunch of other low-level concepts that before I had been like, yeah, bro, I know C, I know low-level stuff. I did not. I was just completely like, I was completely capping. It was completely fake. Yeah, no, it was terrible. I was like actually dumber than that girl Chelsea in your like racial justice English class. I swear I'm not racist. I donated to Uganda in that one video. Yeah, and I also read the help page for that, help ICCF. I read every page of the Vim manual. But yeah, anyway, enough virtue signaling. So after doing that low level stuff, I recently talked to a Russian game developer, like big brain guy, and game developers are like maybe the most cracked developers because they have to really understand low level concepts. They have to understand all this optimization stuff, and he was showing me how he was getting into a very complicated concurrency situation where there's tons of different threads and like it's difficult to verify concurrent behavior. The modeling and debugging becomes very complex once you have tons and tons of different threads and interweaving processes. Um, and yeah, he was showing me like, oh man, I'm actually running into like the limits of computer science here. I'm starting to need some theoretical math. And he said, yeah, if I were you, I would honestly focus on math before computer science. And I've heard that from a couple other people now too, that computer science is like burgeoning so much, and all knowledge, our ability to learn is burgeoning so much that you kind of need like one level deeper than you used to. And now there's also danger to this because you can get easily carried away in the layers of abstraction there are to the universe. Like, oh, Matt, like the computer science ladder is classic, right? Like, oh, to render the web, I need to know React, but I need to know like JavaScript and how like React works under the hood with fibers and whatever. And then I need to understand like the JavaScript runtime, so I need to understand like C, so I need to understand machine code, so I need to understand, you know, electricity, so I need to understand physics, so I need to understand quantum physics. Like you can, and each one of those layers has like an infinite fractal expansion you can go down to. So you do have to be careful with that. That's something you probably all know firsthand, like accidentally rabbit holing yourself in random like Unix tools, which I've never done. But yeah, I'm very easily sidetracked. That's why I ended up like opening the Vim manual and then starting this whole YouTube channel, and now I'm onto math. It's just sometimes it's hard to control your like if your knowledge desire for knowledge is like a big old snake and it's like slithering all over the place. Sometimes it's really hard to control that snake. That was kind of weird. Anyway, but understanding math is really not as bad as you think it is. With this Math Academy thing, oh my god, I'm building intuition so much more quickly. And now that I'm being fully honest with myself about what I understand and don't understand, bro, it's so much better than like going through school and being like, yeah, I kind of understand that. Yeah, I'm taking a test. And honestly, like I said, I was going to go back to school, but school, I don't think, is keeping up with the modern rate of learning that's possible. When you're driven to learn on your own and you're doing these like AI accelerated math intuition courses and just focusing 4 hours a day and like really being very honest about what you understand and using Feynman's technique of explaining and talking to other people about what you're learning, school cannot keep up with this. I've learned more in the last 2 weeks than I have in like 3 years of school. I'm not joking. And there's a lot I have to cover still, like a lot I have to cover. I'm doing discrete math right now because I feel it'll be most applicable to computer science. But yeah, what I really recommend, honestly, is starting foundationally. Like, we build so much abstraction, and you can't really... You can be successful actually with abstraction. I know some really amazing like React engineers that are just, that's their thing. They build really good websites, but it's immensely helpful for everything the deeper your understanding and abstractions are. And that's also why like I'm now philosophy at the deepest levels. I'm like a huge advocate of like ontology or I don't fucking know what I'm talking about in terms of philosophy, to be honest. I'll admit that freely, which is something you got to get really good at. Just as embarrassing, as like humiliating as it is to not know certain obvious concepts, like I used to like just when someone said a word I didn't know, I'd be like, I'm gonna eke out the meaning of that sentence from other context. And now I just blatantly ask, even if it's like a really dumb word. Yeah, that attitude, oh my god, is chef's fucking smooch. It's just been amazing. And this Math Academy app is also amazing. I'm not sponsored by them. I don't take sponsors because I'm not a sellout like some people. Just kidding. That guy has to make a living. I don't really hold it against him that much. Yeah, that's where I've been at. I've been just learning hella shit, dude. hella shit. It's all compounding all at once. And my board game is going well, and you'd think I was manic again, but it's not even that. I'll make a whole nother video about that because this one's getting long, and I have to drip feed you knowledge in 10-minute chunks to maximize profit. Yep, see you next time.